Hello everyone and welcome back here at Tuning Dutchy. Now today I'm gonna reveal with you guys the cylinder head that I got, and I'm gonna tell you guys how you can see if your car that you recently bought, if that one has a good oil service or bad, because a bad oil service means probably a bad running engine, or maybe you can get issues later on. With no further ado, let's get right into it. Now, this right here, guys, this is the cylinder head of a Daewoo F8CV. As you guys can see, this is the exhaust manifold normally, which is put on there, and 3 holes means a 3-cylinder, okay? Now, how can you see for yourself if the service is bad? Now, okay, we have the cylinder head over here, but guess if your hood is open and you really want to check if it's bad. Now, on your car, obviously you have the oil cap on the cover. Now, basically what you gotta do is take your this cap off, and I did that with these bolts that are going in here, that are these ones. So, and then we can take this off. Now, I'm gonna show you guys how it looks like. Okay, so I'm gonna create some space, and I will be right back with you guys. Okay, now, as you see, the cylinder head is laying there, and we got some space to lay the valve cover over here. So let's take a look. We take it off. Now, you see already black lines, but then again, where's the gasket? Normally there's a gasket to prevent oil leaks. There's none here as well. But do you guys see what I see? Look in here. Now, as you guys can see, I'm gonna take something, and you guys see all this mess, all these particles, right? Now, if you see this, or better yet here on the side, maybe worse, because this might be sticky, see? If you see this on your valve cover, okay, this can be done by every car, then that probably means that your engine has been oil serviced very badly, okay? Another thing to check, if it's not visible on here, you can go inside here, and you probably already can see on the rocker arms, I mean, they have plenty of carbon buildup as well. I mean, here as well, which definitely should not be, and actually on everywhere. Now, this over here is looking actually a little bit the cleanest, but then again, this one looks pretty clean. This one does not, because you can see already lots of particles in this area. I mean, that definitely means you have to service your oil way more often, okay? So now these red painting, I don't know what that means, but probably someone likes to be funny and try to paint it red. I don't know. Even on the camshaft lobe and on the downside of the rocker arm over here is painted as well. And in this particular section, you guys can see that difference. Wow, between that difference. Now this one has a very good comparison. See? We will get in this very soon, okay? Now, this cylinder head came with Bosch Super spark plugs, which I really recommend because these are performance spark plugs. But then again, guys, if you have this, try to clean as much as you can. You can use carburetor cleaner and brake cleaner as the way you go. Now, once that's done and everything is off, you'll get the original color, which you already can see on the outside is silver, and that is the same for the inside. Now, we are gonna scratch a little bit over here, and then you guys probably might see that. Now, this brown over here is the original color we like to see if the engine is used, okay? So we don't want to see all this mess. We just want to see the original color. You see it, brown. And that's no problem, because that's usage, okay? Now, here you guys can see the original color a bit. And there we go. I'm scratching a little bit through it, and you can already see some particles over there, which is silver. Now, very hard to see on the camera, but I see it here in real life. All these things, as you can see, is the original color in this complete cylinder head. Now, I'm gonna clean this up very soon, but I'm gonna do that, of course, off camera, and I'm not gonna do that right now. Now, next thing, once you have decided that your valve cover is very messy, of course, because the engine has not been serviced and oiled very good, you want to check out if your engine is actually healthy. Now, how can you check that? Now, you can check on the valve of rocker arms if they are cracked, stiff, or just a mess like that. As you can see, lots of carbon buildup, not even a little bit. So I'm definitely going to clean that out. But what you really want to see is cracks, dents on the rocker arms that are these things, or on lifters. So they look a little bit the same like these. They're always on the top position, always, on every engine. Now, as we already can see, I mean, of course, we have lots of mess, lots of particles. Now, I have special stuff for that to clean it up. But one thing, of course, I mean, the surface of this cylinder head is very, very bad. I don't see any cracks or dents, so that's good. But if you have this consideration and you think, hey, you know, this is very messy, I don't trust it. If you want your trust to be regained, or maybe even better, the next step you're gonna do is watch for those silver things, which is right there brown, and they're light brown, and they're almost even dark. Now, these things have, of course, also their meanings. And that's very important to look at, okay? Now, what you really want to see on a very good engine, even if it has been used, is this over here. This is silver, purely silver. Now, that means if you see that the engine is probably very, very healthy. Now, you should not see any scratches. Now, of course, you can see minor scratches, but this particular cylinder head is from '98 and has already run more than 200,000 kilometers. So if there are minor scratches on there, as you guys can see, and you can go with your nail on it to feel if it's scratchy, and if you keep sticking, that's not good. But if it's really surfaced, that's no problem for 200,000 kilometers cylinder head. So let's feel. No, perfectly fine. No problem at all. Super. And even it feels oily, so that's good. What you definitely don't want to see, and this is a very good thing, this one over there and this one over there. And if you guys look up closely to this is on cylinder number 3. And if you look closely up to this, cylinder number 1, you guys might already say, now, you know, this one is the worst. But if I tell you that it's not true, why? If you look up closely, you cannot see scratches or dents or usage. I'm going into this very soon, but this one is the worst. Now you can see already the silver lines coming through. See, that are a little bit over here, and they go actually just from here completely up, and that on the complete lobe. So I'm gonna explain that soon, very, very soon, and this is what you can consider if your cylinder head is worn out or bad. Now, what I mean with this one, guys, now also, if you see this, just go with your nail on the lobe over there and scratch again. If you feel scratch or dents, then you know it's damaged. Just go on it and feel. There we go. I try to get between it. It's very hard to go between, so I'm using my normal finger to see if this is possible. Yeah. And as I already said, this one is actually feeling very good. This one has not scratches, but see the color. As I told you, it should be silver, right? So what should that mean? Now, if you guys look right, all particles, silver, almost black. If you see this without scratches, this means that cylinder number 1, because this is the exhaust side, cylinder number 1 has been overheated. Now that's clearly because it's almost black. This is not good. Okay, so and you can also see down here, which is almost the worst case scenario that you actually can get, lots of carbon buildup. Guys, really, if you see this, I definitely would say try another way to fix all of these issues, okay? Because this is what you want to avoid. But can you run an engine on it? Yes, you can. As long as you don't feel scratches or anything, it's okay-ish. Be sure that you are running your engine with lots of coolant. And, of course, clean this all up. Now, again, as I said, you can do this with carburetor cleaner or brake cleaner. Just keep in mind, if you see lots of mess like this, try to protect the cam loops. Try to pull something over it so nothing can go inside there, because once it's gonna scratch, it's gonna damage more than you think. Or, if you want to do it the correct way, bring this one to the machinery shop and let this one be redone. The worst case scenario, guys, what you can have is this. Now, this is not good, and if I go with my finger over it, I mean, it feels okay, but I know it's not okay, because you can already see, you see very good orange lines, but you can see silver between them. If you guys look up good, you can see it, right? Now, this means that this one has been scratched. Now, you can also see on the arm itself, right over here, this one has been very deeply scratched, I think. But that's not good. This is definitely what you want to avoid, because once this is going to happen, it's going to actually wear the cam lobe, and then you're definitely going to get damage. And this is only going to take hundreds of miles, and then you can bring your complete cylinder head back to the machinery shop. So do this before you install this on your car, okay? Now, one thing to see if the engine is overheated is also looking at the downside. Now, if this is installed on your car, you cannot see that. I mean, you already can see it on the cam lobes if it's overheated, yes or no, and you guys can see it. The answer is yes. So we're just gonna turn this around because I have this opportunity, and we're gonna look into the spark plugs, but also on the valve guides, which are in here, and that are these things a little bit bigger inside and black. That are valve guides. Oh, that one is messy, you see? That one is messy as well. That's not good. Anyways, we are gonna turn this around, and I will be right back with you guys. Okay, so we are back, and you have also the intake side over here. Now, this is the intake side, and let's see on those valve guides, and they are very, very clean. As you guys can see, silver, right? What did I told you guys? Silver is the key, and you can see the silver over here is very, very good. So that means this cylinder head had actually very good air going into the engine without too much mess. So this is actually what we like to see. Also, if you guys can see this is actually white. Now, if you see, guys, if you see this is white, that means normal usage for the coolant passage. Now, on these cylinder heads, it's very normal that warping on these cylinder heads from manifold warping is going to happen. So this is actually what you're going to feel. Now, this is a piece of old gasket, so we are actually going to remove that later on. But anyways, coolant passage looks good. The intake side looks actually very, very nice. I mean, it's normal that this one is be black, and I'm gonna explain you guys why, because I mean, there's also an EGR on there, and it's gonna be over here because this is the EGR side, okay? But that's not something for today. These are the cylinder, well, these are the valves, of course, for the cylinders itself. Now, because we are on the intake side, and that means that black ones are our intake valves. These are actually for the air, and of course for the fuel going into the combustion chamber. Now the spark plug over here, make sure that the air is going to ignite. Once that's done, exhaust valve is going to open a little bit later on and goes on with the next one. First intake, then exhaust, further on, first intake, then exhaust, and so on. Okay? Now one thing actually that's very rare on these engines, because these are deal with these engines, engine code F8CV, 3-cylinder, 0.8 liters, which is not even 20 cubic inch, is these spark plugs. Now these spark plugs also have their meanings. Now if you can see those spark plugs, you can see a little bit brownish over there and over there. And this is actually very good. That means that the mixture of this engine was very good. But probably if that means it's very good, the coolant was probably very bad. Now you can already check if the coolant bad, because these are the coolant passages, and especially on this side, you follow it and you can already see from here on if it's actually was slipping somewhere away. And we're gonna check that, and you can see over here, and probably it went already from here completely gone. Normally you should see the white lines that you guys can see and follow, and here it's gonna break apart. So it was going out this way over here, guys, and over here as well. So this one had coolant issues, and you can see the overheating very, very good on the cylinder number 1, which is over here, intake side, remember? So we have to turn it around. So cylinder number 1, and you guys can see over here the brown to black paces. Now don't forget that this also has to be silver. Okay, so you guys already know how late it is. Now you can see the overheating and all that, and you can see the brown on the sides over here, which also is overheating. And yeah, I mean, that's actually how you see overheating. Now you can also check the valves if you have this opportunity at your home. You can check the valves for a space, and we can see that this one should be okay, at least the intake valve. Now the exhaust valve you will check on the other side. That one looks a little bit open to me. Now that's not a problem. I mean, because I already measured this one, and this one is fine. Because this one is on bottom dead center, and this one should start to open. These ones are closed. Now at least I see a little opening over here. And these ones are completely closed, yes. Now, don't forget, we are on bottom dead center, so that's not a problem. Now, one thing that I like to see is these passages over here, these grooves. They are looking actually pretty clean, and you can see the white. Remember what I said, guys, about the white over here? Coolant. A very good thing to see where the coolant is actually going to. So, guys, that's actually that. So if you want to check your car, if it's actually gonna overheat, or if you bought one and you think it's in a bad condition, take your valve cover off and look up for yourself and see how the engine looks like, because spark plugs, intake valves, your valve cover, and also your exhaust valves tells a lot, as you can see. Anyways, guys, I hope this one was useful for you and helped you out for some maintenance service, or maybe other ideas. Anyways, this was Tuning Dutchy. Subscribe to the channel for future content, like this video, and share this one with your friends. Maybe even this helped them out. Anyways, this was Tuning Dutchy. I'm gonna sign off, and I wish you a very good evening.